The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Casa Grande, Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 41039. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. First, let's start down at the front bumper. Just under the front bumper, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks. These are not intended for towing and have 6,000-pound direct pull. Just above that, on the face of the front bumper, you'll find dual air horns, and in the center, your electronic siren and PA speaker. Moving up onto the bumper extension on the driver's side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving toward the center of the bumper extension, D-handle will gain you access into the front hose load storage area. Moving to the outer edge of the cab, you'll find a marker turn indicator light. Just inside of that, you'll find the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. High beam is located on the inside. Above that, emergency warning light cluster, and further above that, an additional emergency warning lights. There are 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. And as we move to the outer edges of the A-pillar, it's where you'll find the mirror housing flat and convex mirrors. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 identification clearance lights. Located in the center, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. Just above that location on the roof is where you'll find your emergency warning light bar. And then nestled just behind that is where you'll find the spotlight controlled from within inside the cab area. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of the items we just talked about. First, these are the open-ended tow hooks, 6,000-pound direct pull, air horn, electronic siren and PA speaker, mechanical siren. Into that bumper extension, D-handle will gain you access into the closed space where you'll find a swivel discharge and then also dry deck material. Onto the side of the bumper extension, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. And as we move back to the grille, just above that, department name. Close up here of the headlights. Moving up to the warning lights, and then to the very top section, an additional warning light, rotation style. As we move to the windshield, 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield, and then now up onto the roof area where you'll find the forward-facing flood, emergency warning light, and go light. Let's take a look at the side of the cab. We'll identify a few items here, starting first with the bumper extension, side-facing emergency warning light, marker turn indicator light located here on the front cab area. Easily accessible with a gloved hand. These are your door lock and latch. They are keyed. Right next to that, you'll find the grab handle for 3 points of entry for gaining entry and exit out of the cab. Right next to that, you'll find an auto eject shoreline inlet. And also just above the wheel, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Let's move up to the very top section where you'll find an additional emergency warning light, and then to the very rear cab area, it's where you'll find a side-facing floodlight. Once again, let's take a look at some close-ups, first starting with the marker turn indicator light, looking now into the stepwell area. You'll also find in the stepwell at the top a light and then also your air inlet. Moving up to the mirror area, and then back to the door handle area, grab handle and door lock, once again keyed. And then right next to that, you'll find a 30 amp auto eject. This is your shoreline inlet. Emergency warning light. Let's go ahead and move inside the cab now onto the driver's space. First, affixed to the door panel is where you'll find this yellow placard. We'll identify that in just a few moments. You'll also find safety and warning placard information affixed here on each of the door panels. Combination door lock and latch. The lock is located in the center area. Just above that, you'll find window control for your electric windows for all 4 cab windows. And right next to that, a grab handle. Let's move back to the yellow placard here on the door panel. This placard here is manufacturing from Pierce Manufacturing. It has your city name, date of manufacturing, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and cold tire inflation. This also has all of your components, fluid capacities, and also fluid types for your maintenance team. As we move into the cab area, let's start first at the base of the seat, where you'll find when plugged into Shoreline Power, the battery voltage indicator will illuminate, indicating battery status. As we move to the seat, you'll find comfort controls for your air ride seat, also front and back. On the floorboard, you'll find your mechanical siren foot pedal. As we move to about the left knee of the operator, you'll find the master battery switch, quarter turn silver. Right next to that is the engine transmission J1939 diagnostic port for your maintenance team. Also, some additional switches, ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit switch. Let's move up to the dash. On the left-hand side is where you'll find the start and ignition switch. Just inside that location, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will turn on and off all emergency lights with one switch, headlight switch, and a panel switch, allowing you to brighten and dim lights within preview of the operator. Opposite side of the steering column is the OK to engage your high idle switch and indicator. Pump shift also on the right-hand side, instructions from road to pump, and then also instructions on the placard here from pump to road. When engaging the pump, just as a reminder, you need 2 green indicators indicating pump engaged and OK to pump before exiting the cab for pump operations. Just up to the right, you'll find the mirror control for your main mirror and convex mirror. General view here of the center area just to the right of the driver's space. This is your backup monitor camera system. Also, just below that, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker module. Some additional switches, which we'll go over here in just a moment, and then also your Allison transmission pad. Let's go back up. This is the wheel-in control module here for your siren and PA system. Some switches here for emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. These are all of your emergency warning lights. Let's move just down from this location where you'll find the pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. It's the yellow diamond. That is the rear service brake, and then also Allison transmission pad. On the left, you'll find the transmission oil, def, and water temp. On the right, volts, fuel, front air, and rear air. In the center, you're going to find the tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information regarding your vehicle will display both above and below the tachometer and speedometer, with an additional information screen in the center area below the tachometer and speedometer. To the right, climate control, heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Moving further to the right, you'll find 12-volt access via USB style. Looking overhead now, just a general view of the overhead switch components. Let's start on the far left-hand side, where you'll find this yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 10 feet 3 inches, length 30 feet 6 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 42,000 pounds. We also have the 5-digit job number 41039 TR-01. Please utilize that when reaching out for any service or questions. Right next to that, you're going to find the engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high for the engine brake, siren or brake, which is for your mechanical siren, and then air horn, electric horn, mirror heat, and load manager. Moving just to the right of this location, once again, this is just over the driver's space. Front scene, driver flood, passenger scene, passenger flood, and rear scene. When any of those lights have been engaged, the light in the switch will illuminate green. Moving just to the right, this is where you're going to find the control module for the go light. This is the spotlight on and off and joystick control. As we move to the center console overhead, you'll find your traffic information. Moving just to the rear of that, that's for the Waze app. And then also you'll find seatbelt information, red indicating someone in the seat and not belted, green in the seat and belted. Also, do not move your apparatus if this light's flashing. You may have a compartment or door open. Also, you'll find here, a little blurry on this picture, but this is your wheel-in traffic advisor. It is on a swivel hanging from the center of the roof area. Air conditioner vents, and then as we look just to the rear, you'll find 2 forward-facing seats, Moving back out to the exterior to the front wheel, where you'll find a Goodyear tire Alcoa wheel and a visual sight gauge indicator into the center of the axle area. Back onto the rear door panel, once again, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, window control, and then also a grab handle. You also find at the hinge point, you'll find a red strap. That strap is for gaining access in and out of the vehicle. As we move to the step well area, you'll find LED lighting. Just underneath to the rear of this, you'll also find forward mud flaps for your front wheel and also perimeter lighting. General view just inside the cab area. As we look to the center to the rear of the engine, it's where you'll find your daily check access here. Lift and turn latch will gain you access into this space. As we move overhead, you'll find your air conditioning unit. This is the 12-volt unit air. We also have a 110 Shoreline Power air conditioner located in the center. Let's move now to the pump panel area. We'll start at the very top section where your crosslays are located. There are 3 located here, crosslay 1, 2, and a 2.5-inch crosslay. We'll go ahead and identify a few items within this area of the pump panel. We'll start at the very top section in the upper right-hand corner next to the Pierce logo. In this location, because of those crosslays, you'll find a warning placard indicating entanglement hazard because of those lines coming from aloft. There's the possibility of entanglement. This is your Husky foam system. There are instructions for its operation on the placard and also an indicator for tank level. In the gray area, you'll find the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They're currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. And then also the master intake gauge on the left, and on the right, the master discharge gate. Let's move just to the right where you'll find your pressure throttle governor. In this vicinity at the very top, you'll find a round speaker. This does rotate to increase or dampen sound. Also, once again, the pressure throttle governor located here. Just to the right, if you've engaged your pump properly, you'll find this OK to pump light illuminating. We'll quickly move through some of the discharges. Front discharge, crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. All of these are foam capable, indicating in red writing. Also, additional placard here for your Husky foam system specifications, deluge discharge. And then also just to the right of that location, you'll find a warning regarding fall hazard. When climbing on and off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. Engine cooler is a twist, not a pull. As we move further down, you'll find the tank refill and recirculating line, and then also tank to pump. As we move down just below this, you'll find your minimum operation maintenance schedule for test pressures at 150, 200, and 250. Also, you'll find the fire pump primer. It's a push to prime air for best practices at least 1,000 RPMs when priming. We do have a little informational placard locating that, stating that information. Moving just to the right, you'll find a wheel valve here. This is for the large diameter passenger side, green. Also, driver 1 and passenger 2, these are your 2.5-inch discharges. Also, an additional placard here indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also, a warning here, only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. And also a foam warning, do not mix different brands or consistencies for the possibility of foam failure. Here's a close-up of that warning placard, and then also the driver discharge 2.5-inch. American flag Eagle Pierce logo, large diameter pump inlet. Moving back up to the top to that warning placard, and also draft foam tank lever. This is for your foam fill. Just below that, you'll find the main pump drain. Moving further down, you'll find the manual pump shift. And then we also have a lift and turn latch here for gaining access behind the pump panel. This is where you'll access the yellow handle. This is for foam fill operations, and on the back of that pan door, you'll find instructions. Also, foam drain located inside. Let's go back to a couple more placards. First, starting with this red placard indicating the brand of pump and also the capacity, 1,500 GPM. We do have some discharges located here. These are your drains. As we move down to the very bottom, you'll find a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet locally controlled via the ball valve. Warning once again, only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after you've received proper training. Moving through the rest of the discharge drains, manifold drain and number 2 crosslay, and also driver's side drain for your auxiliary line. As we move to the running board, you'll find a cutout within this space. This is for additional hose storage, Velcro tie downs, and dry deck material. Just underneath that running board is where you'll find the foam pump discharge drain and foam pump intake drain. Moving now to the body section, on the vertical surface you'll find folding steps for gaining access to go aloft. As we move through the rest of the compartments, roll-up compartment doors. Inside each of those compartments is where you're going to find LED lighting and then also ventilation within each of those compartments. Let's move into the most forward compartment. This is on the driver's side, where you'll find when plugged into Shoreline Power, the air compressor and also battery charger will maintain air pressure and battery charge when plugged into Shoreline Power. As we move to the bottom, adjustable shelf, and then at the very bottom, a pull-out floor-mounted tray. The release for that is located on the lower right-hand side. Moving back just over compartment 2 is where you'll find a side-facing floodlight. Just inside the compartment here, LED lighting. As we move just in front of the rear axle, compartment storage for SCBA bottles, for 2 SCBA bottles with retaining straps. Also, the location for your DEF fill location, which is the blue cap. Over the wheel, you'll find an emergency warning light. And as we move down to the rear axle, you'll find once again Goodyear tire and an Alcoa wheel. Just to the rear of this location is where you're going to find additional SCBA bottle storage, 2 bottles, retaining straps, and also the ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. It's the silver cap. Moving to the rear compartment, adjustable shelves, and at the very bottom section, a pull-out tray. And the release mechanism for this pull-out tray is located on the right-hand side. Moving back up to the very top, side-facing scene and an emergency warning light 360. Now moving on to the rear of the apparatus, we'll start at the very top section, where you'll find an emergency warning light, scene lights, and also license plate bracket. And then also you'll find some cupped switches here for activation of the hose bed lights and then also rear scene lights. Down at the very bottom, you'll find an emergency warning light on the top, brake, turn, and reverse light cluster. A couple of warning placards here regarding entanglement hazard. Because the line's coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. Also, a fall injury when riding or when climbing onto the vehicle. Always face the vehicle when climbing on and off. And then also fall hazard, never ride on the vehicle while the vehicle is in motion. As we look to the rear hose storage location, you'll see cross dividers and also a lower section which has a step area where you'll find the 2.5-inch discharge. Located in the center section, protected, is the backup camera, and then across the very bottom is all of the traffic advisor lights. Moving down to the very bottom section, once again fold out steps, moving up to that step location, and then across the very bottom section, roll-up compartment door at the rear, adjustable shelf inside. This is a closed compartment space. Moving back up to the rear, once again, emergency warning lights and rear scene lights. Also, you'll find in the pan door, 24-foot extension ladder, 14-foot roof ladder. At the very top section, you'll find pike pole storage location, and on the outer right edge is where you'll find your 10-foot folding ladder. Let's move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle. We'll start identifying a few items with this area. Pretty much the same configuration and layout as far as compartments. And then also inside those compartments, we'll identify those items too. Let's start at the very rear compartment, where you'll find adjustable shelving. Moving to the center compartment, over the center compartment is where you'll find the side-facing floodlight, same as you have on the driver's side. As we move into the compartment space, front and rear of the axle, you'll find SCBA bottle storage for 3 bottles with retaining straps here, emergency warning light directly over the rear axle, and then just forward of that, you'll also find SCBA bottle storage for 3 bottles and also a marker turn indicator light. Just a couple things to point out. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operations. Please be mindful where you choose to park your vehicle and set up protections when in regen mode. Let's move forward to that location where you'll find 3 adjustable shelves, pull-out tray on the lower portion of this compartment. Once again, the release mechanism for that pull-out tray is going to be located on the lower right-hand side of the rail. Moving now into the mid-section of the vehicle. Starting with your crosslays, same configuration and layout. Also on this side, we'll start in the upper portion first with a grab handle at the very top section. Also your crosslay netting. And then we'll move down onto the pump panel itself. Just a few things on the pump panel. I do have some warning placards here indicating warning, entanglement hazard. Because of those crosslays from aloft, there's the possibility of entanglement. Also, this is the location for your cab lift. There are instructions for its operations to raise and also to lower, and also some caution and danger placard invocation because of the movement of that device. Moving now to the forward section, you'll find, to the rear section where you'll find a pan door for gaining access behind the pump panel. In this specific space is where you're going to find a set screw. This is for your internal relief valve. And then also large diameter pump inlet. This is the American flag, Pierce logo, and the eagle. Large diameter discharge, which is the green controlled from the wheel valve on the driver's side. Also a warning placard here indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when removing them. And across the very bottom, all of the color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Same thing in the running board on this side. We have a tubbed location here for additional hose storage, dry deck material on the base, and Velcro tie down. We're now onto the cab area. We'll start on the upper left-hand corner of the cab. Rear-facing or side-facing scene light. Emergency warning lights in the upper portion of the cab, door lock and latch combination, and grab handle. As we move into the space, you'll find affixed to the door panel safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, and also grab handle. Moving into the step, we have LED lighting in the step well area, also a grab handle at the hinge point, which is your red grab handle inside the webbing. Over the top, you'll find a side-facing scene light and emergency warning light. As we move back to the front wheel, once again, Goodyear tire, Alcoa wheel, and then also that visual sight gauge indicator into the inner axle area. Grab handle and also door lock and latch combination, easily accessible with a gloved hand. We're now to the mirror where you'll find the flat portion in the upper part and the lower portion is convexed. As we move into the space here, you'll find a fixed door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, window combination, and your step well. Moving into the floor space of the officer's area on the A-pillar is where you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. At the floor level, you'll find a mechanical siren foot pedal. This is for your mechanical siren located on the driver's side front bumper. Also, seat controls for the officer and a grab handle on the A-pillar. Looking to the over space over the head, you'll find the Go Light control module, push on and off white or red lens lights. To the left of the officer seat, air horn control, and also siren brake. Back to the exterior A-pillar, marker turn indicator light, and on the bumper extension, you'll find that side-facing emergency warning light on the extension. Congratulations, Casa Grande, Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 41039. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.